everybody. We have a breaking news story from the Movie Fake News Broadcast Network. I'm Bill Richmond.
And I'm Tom Monahan.
We have just gotten word that Joss Whedon will return to filmmaking with an original superhero tale based on his life.
I'm not sure people will want to see that, Bill.
The movie will be titled The Kingdom of the Kindly Knight and will mostly have a female cast and crew.
Something about that title doesn't sit right with me, Bill.
We were just handed our first look of the knight's costume for the movie.
We should definitely stop reporting stuff like this, Bill.
This has been another breaking news story from the Movie Fake News Broadcast Network. I'm Bill Richmond.
And I'm Tom Monahan.
Bringing you breaking news you should not take seriously.
Well, hello, everybody. What's happening? I'm going to film Junkee live on your hump day. Let's get the humping, huh? How's everybody doing, huh? Doing pretty good, huh? Yeah, everybody? So you're having a good day? You know what? I'm having one of those where, guess what? I'm having some Wednesday night wine because I was like, you know what? I was under the wire there for a minute. Things weren't working correctly and whatnot, so but I got it in there. Got the news broadcast from the MFN guys all in there and everything. Thank you guys for clicking in, of course. Make sure you smash that like thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to join, become a member, hit the join button. If you want to join the Patreon, we'll do the Patreon too. Help out the channel if you want to do that. And then, of course, the Film Junkie Closet down below. All right, who's out there, huh? Who do we got? Let's see. We got Mr. Fear Jason here. Yes. Mr. MPO knows which article we're looking at here. What's going on, Dane? Yep. Yeah, everybody, some people wished David Ayer a happy birthday yesterday. What's going on, Niner fan? I'll be rooting for you this weekend, but man, I tell you, it's going to be a hard one. Tyler, good to see you. We got Eric here. We got Resident Justice. Yes, it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. What's going on, Mr. Jose? Let's get the humping. That's right. Looking forward to it. Possibly. I'll let you know. We got Jesse. Good to see you. We got Mr. We Are Venom right here. Aquaman 2 and yeah, now. Who wins? Well, I mean, that's a difficult one. You know, that's a hard one to determine, to be honest. Because I think a lot of people are kind of anticipating Avatar, but at the same time, it's like Aquaman, $1 billion movie. I don't know. That's going to be difficult. One of them's going to move. There's no way that they stay. Yeah, I can't imagine it. That's for sure. But there are people that there's certain people that aren't defending it. They're just not talking about it. Yeah, they're just not even talking about it. That's what's so strange about this whole thing. Hello, darling. I like that hashtag right there. And we got Mark right here. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see ya. Yes, right. So you guys liked the opening. Yeah, you know, it's been a while since the MFN guys gave us a breaking news report. I for a while, yeah, it's probably actually when I looked at it, it was like back in April of last year. I haven't done an MF. I'm going to try to do more of those too because I always enjoy doing the Bill Richmond and the Tom Monahan. Yeah, gotta love it. What's going on? Shadow Ghost. Ooh, let's see, it jumped right here. Where are we at right here? Sorry. Sometimes this thing just like, yeah, we got Rosemary. Always good to see you. Yes, got the wine. What's going on, Captain Gator Girl and all the sexy friends out there? Salud, Amparo. Yes, that's right. Cool. We got Selena Kyle here. Yeah, it's going to be a rough one, but you never know what could happen. You never know. I'm looking for an upset. Either the Rams defeating the Bucks or the Niners defeating the Packers. That's going to be, it's one of those is going to be an upset. I want at least one upset, and I'm not sure which one I want. Do I want Brady to just not get another one? I will say I kind of want Rodgers to get his Super Bowl, but who knows? Yes, we'll be talking about that, Ryan. We'll be talking about that. That's very interesting. I'm hoping that it sticks. So we'll see what happens. Mr. Tony, Good. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Got a little, it took a little bit almost down to the wire. I thought I was going to have to postpone the stream for a little bit there. So, yeah. You're late. You missed the opening. You did, Captain Gator Girl. Don't worry. I'll be posting it right after. I'll be posting it. So don't worry. You know me. Anytime I have the opening sketch or anything like that, I post it as an individual video because that's what I like to do. Anyways, guys, you guys are awesome. Make sure you smash that like, thumbs up. Of course. Oops. Do all that. Make sure we're doing all that. Let's talk some Batman today. That's not really, I think, we had 2 days of talking about Whedon. 2 days of talking about Whedon, but there is something, though, that I was going to mention yesterday. What's going on there, Hotshot? Good to see you. Let's go, Batman. Let's go, Batman. I love it. But there was an article I was going to mention yesterday. Well, I'll mention it during the tweets. It was a good article that somebody that is very much a friend of mine wrote yesterday. So we'll get to that. But anyways, guys. All right, let's get this party started. Let's get to those tweets. Hold on. I forgot to turn that off. There we go. We're good. Okay, so this is just right off the bat here. This is interesting. I don't know, Mr. Brandon Davis of comicbook.com. Apparently, the Spider-Man spinoff-ish Kraven the Hunter movie is reportedly filming next month. Like, what? Filming next month. And thank you, Ryan. Sugar Daddy Ryan is back. Thank you for the $10 or the $9.99 super chat there. Thank you, Ryan. Mr. Ryan Platts right there. I know we always had that joke. That was like earlier. That was like last year where you were just like, woo, yeah, you were definitely my sugar daddy. So Sugar Daddy Ryan coming back right there. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the donation. Always appreciate it. Always much appreciated. Helps out the pirate ship big time. But yes, according to comicbook.com and Brandon Davis, Mr. BD right here, apparently, I was wondering if this was even going to be happening anymore, but the Kraven the Hunter movie is reportedly going to be filming next month. So this he dropped this last night. And said Spider-Man is reportedly set to start filming soon, according to the often accurate Murphy's Multiverse. The Kraven film is going to star Aaron Taylor Johnson, the titular role and character from the pages of Marvel Comics, best known for ruthlessly pursuing Spider-Man and the others as a mercenary. As for which Spider-Man he'll be a part of, this is in Kraven's world. Whoa, shit. Whoa, I just had my thing. Hold on. I had a mess up here. Damn. Easy there. Sorry, I got a new little platform here. Oh crap. Gravity just took over. Okay, we're good. Relax. My whole setup just went kaploosh right here. Hold on. We're good. Yeah, I got a new platform for my laptop and everything just went shwoof, man. Tell ya. That was, goddamn, this thing's too big. That's what it is. Too big for the desk. I need a bigger desk. That's what it is. Okay, we're good. That escalated quickly. Jeez. Anyways. All right, we're good? All right. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Kaploosh, yeah. Yeah, I just made up a new word right there, so that was fun. All right, we're good. Gravity just kind of took over. I guess I was leaning on it too much. Yeah, the other one, the legs one of the legs broke right there, so, yeah. I had to use a different one, so we're all good. Anyway, so there's your update, apparently, about Kraven the Hunter right there. We're good. And happy birthday to Miss, I can never say her name, but, Feora. Apparently it was her birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to her. Those gorgeous eyes, I tell you what, and we're apparently going to see her again in the Flash, so that's good. Emergency, right? All right. I thought this was pretty funny right here. Me pretending to have 5 years experience at an entry-level interview. That's pretty hilarious. Whoever made that, that's funny. Hey, look at that. Kim Basinger. I wonder if she's going to show back up in the Flash. You never know. I don't think Jack Nicholson is going to, so I don't think that's going to happen. This is funny right here. Thomas, the little engine that could. Yeah, he knew too much. So they covered his face. He's just trying to not get COVID. That's what's happening right there. He's trying not to get COVID. That's all. That is all. This is a pretty good poster right here. Michael Keaton Batman. I like it. It's good. It's a good combination. Good collage of poster right here. This is a really cool edit right here with, Moon Knight and the Batman that's going to be coming out. Obviously, March is going to be a very intense superhero type of month right there. So that's cool. And thank you to Mr. Anderson Miller. He put this little, he made this little banner right here and created a little campaign that said Ayer on the Vodka stream. So we put it right here. David Ayer on the Vodka stream. Fans want to hear from the man himself. No better platform than Film Junkie's The Vodka stream. David Ayer, please consider accepting Dave's invitation to be on his show, Ayer on the Vodka stream. So there you go. There's a hashtag you guys should tweet out right there. That's right. Be sweet. Like I said, I've reached out. We'll see what happens. If he ever wants to talk, then hopefully we'll talk, man. Hopefully that'll be the case. I love it. I very much would just welcome him in and just have him want to talk whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. Whether it's about the Ayer cut, I actually would love to talk to him just about his origin story, as I always like to do when I have guests on, but yeah, it'd be great to get Ayer on the Vodka stream. What is happening? Okay, we're good. No glitch. Uh-oh. Like I said, I've been having glitches. Okay, so we're good. It seems like my YouTube kind of glitched right now. Uh-oh. We're not glitching, are we? All right, we're good. We're good. I don't know why it's saying that on here. What's up, Chrissy? Good to see you. And then we got the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. It's officially titled The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And it will cover Second Age of Middle-earth from the forging of the rings and the last alliance of elves and men right here. So, this was dropped today. A lot of people were freaking out about it. Seemed very interesting. Like I've told you guys, movies are good, but I'm not super into the whole Lord of the Rings lore, but, maybe I have to dive back into it and kind of see what they do right here. But yeah, this little teaser trailer was released today. It's not going to be coming out for a little bit though, right? I don't think it's coming out till next year. I'm thinking, right? I don't know. Interesting, and there's beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Hey, on this day in 1990, one of my all-time favorite movies, Tremors, came out. That's right. And this day in 1990, the cult classic Tremors was released. That's what I like. Graboids. Love that movie. Love that movie so much. Part of my childhood. I thought this was a good little thumbnail right here I created for the story about Willem Dafoe. About Willem Dafoe and his idea for Joker 2. Remember when I talked about that on Monday? Well, I finally clipped it out, and I actually just spent some time making that thumbnail because I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, how am I going to show a thumbnail like that? And I actually spent some time on that. I mean, this little cutout of the Joker's face, pretty much after you kind of do stuff in Photoshop, it fit perfectly on Dafoe's, smiling face right there. I mean, that looks pretty damn cool, I thought. So, good times. Of course, we'll talk about all that stuff. Let's see. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible tenure is currently at 23 years, a span of time covered in the Bond series by Connery, Lazenby, and more combined. So pretty much Tom Cruise has played Ethan Hunt for 23 years, and that's longer than any Bond. That's right. What's going on, Mr. Will Diesel? Good to see you. Has anybody tried this? This looks gross. I'm one of those people that if you're going to be vegan and just eat fruit and vegetables and whatever not, just be vegan. But if you have to really resort to these fake chicken McNuggets thing, that looks like clay right there. That looks like clay. That's not exactly a good little look for it when you're trying to be chicken right there. I thought that was funny. I don't know. But they're releasing that Beyond Chicken. Ugh. I'm sorry. No. I'm like, if you're going to be vegan, just be vegan. Come on. If you're going to do keto, be keto. Don't get the keto bread or the keto candy or whatever the fuck. I hate that shit. Dumb. But I saw that. I'm like, what the? I guess. It made you hungry? Ugh. Chicken looks like tofu. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you might as well just call it that. Just call it tofu, fried tofu. Just do that instead. Let's do that instead, I guess. Here's another picture of the Joker and Kim Basinger, Vicky Vale. I like it. I like it. And then, of course, the damn marketing. These posters, these sexy posters. When it comes to Batman and Catwoman for the Batman, it's just so freaking good. And this made me laugh right here. Just, come on. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, it's not the best Photoshop job, but the idea is there. The idea is there. Yeah, keto candy isn't that bad, Selena, but it's not keto. That's the thing. It's not keto. Technically, when you have to cheat to get there, it's not worth it. Jason Mantzukas. Well, apparently, okay, so we all know about the Pam and Tommy Lee Hulu series that's coming out in a little bit called Pam and Tommy. That's about the sex tape that leaked. According to, of course it leaked. This was before the internet and stuff like that. But apparently, Jason right here is going to be voicing Tommy Lee's penis. That's right. Tommy Lee's penis. So that means there's going to be, I guess, scenes where Tommy Lee is tripping balls or whatnot, and his penis is talking to him. And, if anybody has actually seen the said sex video, that penis is, it's a third leg. Let's just say it. We can compliment the man. It's a third leg. It really is. So, but apparently it's going to have a voice, and it's going to be voiced by Mr. Jason right here, which he's been in various things. He's a comedian. It's just what the hell? That's insane right there. I know. Andrew, I'm not sure what we do with this information either, but I thought it was funny, so I retweeted it so that we could talk about it on Film Junkee Live. That's right. Tommy Lee's penis is going to have a voice in Pam and Tommy. I'm looking forward to the series. I have to reactivate my Hulu because I got to watch that, and I got to watch Women of the Movement, Ray Fisher's Women of the Movement. I got to catch up on that too. But I canceled my Hulu for a little bit, but I think now that we're getting into the playoff football, I'm going to end up canceling some my TV because I don't need it. That was the only reason why I needed it. And then I'm going to get my Hulu going so I can catch up some of the stuff right there because I want to see how they pull this off, to be honest. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, and, of course, Sebastian Stan is Tommy Lee. But, yeah, his penis going to have a voice. I like it. It's going to be interesting, man, I tell you. And here you go, guys. Here you go. Remember what I said? Ever since Monday, ever since the Whedon article came out, and some people are going hey, should Zack Snyder respond to this? I said, no, he's not going to respond to it directly. Not going to respond to it. What I want Zack to do is to post something subtle, as he does, to just show his support for Ray. And I knew he would come through. You can't tell me that this is a subtle way to let him know, to let everyone know, that he is 100% backing Ray Fisher. He's standing with Ray Fisher because he's always said that Ray was the heart of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And what does he do? He gets a coffee because we know the man loves his coffee. And there's a heart, of course, that, those people can, the whatchamacallits, they put it in there. And he put a heart right there, took a nice little picture of it, and there you go. Subtle, to the point. If you know, you know. This is it. This is him right there. This is what I wanted. I don't want Zack to talk about it. If he comes back on the Vodka stream, I won't even mention about Joss Whedon. Nothing about Joss Whedon. We saw how he reacted when it came to using any kind of footage that he used for his Justice League. Yeah, we know how Zack feels, but we know that Zack is 100% behind Ray Fisher, and this was his way of putting it out there. So kudos to Zack. Cheers to Zack. That's what I wanted right there. That's all I wanted from him right there. I love it. It's a good man. It's a good man right there. It's a definite good man. Yeah, this tweet right here. So basically Robert Pattinson was indeed joking about not working out. So I said, let me show you my shock face.
I'm Robert Pattinson, asshole. Remember when that whole thing happened? Oh, yeah, he was quick to just throw Robert Pattinson under the bus, but this lengthy Joss Whedon article came out, and mum's the word. Has he not talked about it? He still hasn't talked about it, right? Still has not said anything about it? That's what's so strange, you know? Come on, Campia. You could talk about it. It's fine. You can talk about it. Nothing wrong with talking about that. I know Joss Whedon was your hero at one point, but it just kind of speaks a little bit of volumes when that happens. Ugh, it's ridiculous. Okay, so here's the article that I was talking about. If you guys haven't seen it yet, please do so. Give it a read. It was posted on Screen Rant. Joss Whedon's response to Justice League abuse claims is even worse. I posted the link down below. I meant to talk about this last night, but I totally forgot. Steven kind of breaks down the response. He does a very good job because, you know, it's Steven. It's Steven. So, and I like how he breaks it down with like the individual parts right here. Joss Whedon's excuses make accusations against him look even worse, which it does. Joss Whedon's answer confirms some accusation, but he doesn't apologize because he's a narcissist. Joss Whedon's responses due to abuse allegations double down on his bad behavior. Whedon's version of his Justice League reshoot behavior was already debunked. So there's all that right there. So if you guys haven't read it, please do yourself a favor, read it. Posted the link down below. Great job, Steven. Yeah, it's a very well written and broken down article right there. And then, of course, we have David Ayer right here going to his Instagram saying, "You're so close to what you always wanted. Just relax." He keeps on posting little things like this. Does it mean anything about the Ayer cut? Who knows? Hopefully it does. We have optimism when it comes about that. And then remember this video right here? So all this was fake. Crazy. So this was all, I thought, because, you know, at the Avengers, whatchamacallit, over there at Disney World, whatever, we know that they have this animatronic, like, Spider-Man thing, and we just thought, oh, yeah, they kind of fucked up when they shot the thing, but apparently this whole video was just VFX. It was just full-on VFX. I thought they just launched that little animatronic dude, and it just didn't hit. But apparently it was just completely VFX. Somebody just, you know, pulled a fast one. What's real anymore? We're living in a goddamn simulation, I tell you what. Goddamn simulation. Listen to me now. It's David Zaslav. He's the key, Will Diesel. Yes. And this is funny right here. Ray Fisher quote tweeted this with some laughter. "Dear Hollywood screenwriters, have you ever heard a black person scream booyah? Why this in every script?" Exactly. This is what's so funny about this. And, you know, every writer, every person in Hollywood, again, they want to make sure that they don't want to be racist so badly that they try so hard to not be racist, but then they think that black guys actually say booyah. I mean, booyah. I mean, that's what's so funny about that. It's like, stop it. I've never heard a black guy say booyah, and it's absolutely true. Stop trying to be, they just tried to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to, you know, they say that the catchphrase, right? Yeah, stop saying booyah. Stop putting that in scripts. And I love the fact that Ray Fisher commented about that because it's just so ridiculous that they put that in there. Nobody, yeah. I don't know who says booyah, to be honest. Ugh. Yeah, it's Emperor's New Groove. Yeah, there you go. This is kind of funny right here. They're all coming back. So we got the Joss Whedon article and the Lena Dunham. I forgot that she kind of got canceled for a little bit there. She's trying to come back too. And somebody pull out the bug spray. Pull out the bug spray from the Russian family. The fly spray. Let's get rid of those guys. Ugh. Lena Dunham, bad. Ugh. This is pretty funny right here. This is fake as shit. But yeah, this is a new supposed leak for the cast members of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Could be fake. It is absolutely fake. Look at some of the names right here. It's going down the complete list and just kind of saying, you know, there's two Wongs apparently. We got Henry Cavill as Hyperlon, and then we got Ben Affleck coming back. We got Sue Storm. Chris Evans coming back as Johnny Storm. We got Hugh Jackman. We got all kinds of people. supposedly coming back. We got both professors coming back. Jennifer Lawrence, bullshit. She would never come back. January Jones, all them. Halle Berry. Look at that. Chris Potter. We got a couple of Gambits coming in here. Evan Peters coming in here. It even says Ralph Boner, which is funny. And then it says Ben Stiller as Lawrence Larry DeLay. It's like, come on. Ben Stiller? Kat Dennings. Then, of course, it shows like it's got Tom Cruise. And then Leonardo DiCaprio is a version of Peter Parker. So instead of Tom Holland, they have Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Leonardo DiCaprio coming in there. So, yeah, this is fake as shit. Edward Norton. And then Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno. Not Eric Bana, but Lou Ferrigno coming back as the Hulk also. So, goddamn, you got to love the bullshit that shows up on the internet right there. Definitely fake. That was cute. Very cute. Very cute right there. So, we're not buying it, though. We're not buying it. So, I love that. When I saw that, I was like, wow. Then there was also like an image, like one of those blurry images that was supposedly of Tom Cruise in like the mocap PJs with like a Tony Stark like facial hair that was going around yesterday too. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's really no reason why they would need to do that. You know, I mean, why would they? When you're talking about variants, you don't need a Tony Stark variant, first off, because it's like, I mean, I don't know if they would go that far because obviously Tom Cruise was on the short list when it came to Tony Stark, like who was going to be cast as Tony Stark. Yeah, he was on the short list at one point, but why would you need to, you know, have him be a Tony Stark variant? I mean, I guess it could be kind of cool, but, you know, I don't think that's going to happen. No. All right, let's go through this article right here, man. This article that showed up today from Movie Maker, moviemaker.com. Here we go. The Batman. Let's dive into The Batman. All right. A detective story. To understand Matt Reeves and the Batman, look to the 1970s. I love that. That's when that shit was going on. The following interviews with the Batman director Matt Reeves and stars Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright, Colin Farrell, and producer Dylan Clark contain no plot spoilers, but do detail Reeves' vision of the film. So we're going to go through this a little bit right here and kind of dive into the Batman a little bit because you guys, obviously, it's like the most anticipated movie of 2022, according to a lot of people, of course. So let's just dive into it. There are, let's see, at first they're going to be talking about, okay, so what everyone involved in the Batman mentions about director Matt Reeves and his specificity. That's right. Because we know this guy is totally bleeding Batman right now. So Jeffrey Wright said right here, there were times when I thought maybe we don't need that comma there. Says Jeffrey Wright, who plays the incorruptible Gotham cop Lieutenant Gordon. That's right, he's going to be Lieutenant Gordon. And he's like, wait a minute, that comma relates to a comma in the next scene. If you take that one out, then it changes the value of the next one. It's a really tightly woven script. So literally down to punctuation. That's what Wright is talking about right here. Speaking of Wright, a few months before the film's release, I assumed he was kidding about the comma, trying to make a point about Reeves' exactitude without giving away any plot points of the most anticipated movie of 2023. So I asked Reeves, I'm sure that is true, he says, adding, hearing that makes me feel somewhat bad. We're speaking over Zoom, and his hair and mustache make him look a little like a cross between Ethan Hawke and the version of Jim Gordon played by Gary Oldman in Christopher Nolan's Batman films. His response, like his thinking about the comma, is patient, deliberate, and a little apologetic for being so deliberative. The first thing that I'm doing when I'm working is I'm trying to internalize everything because I have it internalized, then my compass is functional, Reeves explains. So I'm trying to feel it would be like for everybody. I'm trying to feel like what it would be like for everybody, but I'm not the actor that any of these people are. I'm just an actor on paper in my head, and in my vision, and in a vision, I have an instinct about what the emotional path is. When Jeffrey comes in, he has so many great ideas. He's an amazing actor, so he brings something to life. So the last thing I'd want to do is to have him do it the way I would do it, because it won't be nearly as good. He explains, but the I can't even say that. Specificity of the comma has to do with emphasis, and that's a narrative, and that is narrative. There are moments when the comma is narrative. The comma is something that sets something apart that's going to come back in an important way, and his story in particular is the most intricate narrative I have ever tried to tackle. So he put a lot of work into when it comes to Commissioner Gordon into this script right here. The details really do matter, says Robert Pattinson, who plays Bruce Wayne and Batman, two personalities who are painfully intertwined in the Batman. Pattinson says he was worried at first when Reeves would ask for a lot of takes. Oh, we kind of heard something about that, where he wants to do like a lot of takes. I don't know. So Matt Reeves doing a lot of takes. He's not taking a page out of the book of Ridley Scott of filmmaking, where Ridley Scott's like, let's go. Your first thought is, oh my God, I'm absolutely terrible. He laughs with the trademark self-deprecation, but when Reeves would show him the playback of the scenes, which Reeves likes to do, he began to see the same make or break nuances the director did. For example, the mask. The Batman cinematographer Greg Fraser, who also shot Rogue One, told Pattinson early on the two most difficult things to light are Darth Vader's helmet and the cowl. So there you go, diving into the cinematography to make the Bat cowl look great with the lighting and reflections and whatnot. Greg Fraser. I mean, obviously what we've seen from the trailer, they made that cowl look pretty damn good, even with some of the pictures that we see and some of the images that we see of that cowl. That's got to be pretty difficult to do. And these guys are fucking artistes, man, when it comes to all this stuff. So, and then he continues on and says, there's a whole different language, body language, you have to learn to make it do what you want it to do, says Pattinson. If you look too much into the light, it looks completely ridiculous, and you're wearing a Halloween costume. Even Michael Keaton, I think even Kevin Smith has said this about, when you look at the 89 bat suit and the cowl and everything, you see that in broad daylight, it looks ridiculous, but you shoot it just right with the right lighting, dark, make it dark, and the cinematography looks great. It actually, the suit pops. You see that in broad daylight, though, it looks ridiculous. That's just the way I think pretty much a lot of the bat suits do. Maybe not the Batfleck bat suit. I think that one just looks pretty all around, right? If you look to, so he says all that, and then, of course, but if you're 2 millimeters down, it's like, oh, that's completely tatomic. And like it looks exactly how it's supposed to look, but to learn how to feel and learn how to react to how the light hits it takes forever. Every millimeter matters. And then here's what we have to say with Zoe Kravitz right here. There was a scene where Selena, was coming out of the club, and I'm upset. And says Zoe Kravitz, who plays, of course, her. You walk and you're upset and your mouth is kind of open because you're breathing because you're emotional. And then you're closing your mouth, but you're just kind of getting rid of the emotion just slightly. So you try to keep your mouth relaxed the same way. But then I watched back and I could see the difference. And I was like, you are a freak and I love it. So there's a method to this man's madness right here. And I love it. See, right there, the cow looks pretty good. I mean, it's a behind-the-scenes image, but it's pretty cool. Of course, he doesn't have his gauntlet on right there. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, I always like that shot. You always like that shot of the director doing something like this. They're doing the director they're doing the director Vogue motions. They're doing all this kind of stuff. I like that. I always love seeing shots like that. Let's see. Besides directing the Batman, Reeves co-wrote the script with Peter Gregg. Every day, night and day, he eats, drinks, sleeps Batman and all the characters in this mythology, says Colin Farrell, who of course plays the Pigman. He's no doubt hunched over a monitor as we speak, still finishing putting the final touches together. Matt is the most specific person and director I've ever worked with, adds Kravitz, and I really think it's one of his biggest strengths. I think sometimes he beats himself up about it because he can probably drive himself almost crazy sometimes, but his specificity is really beautiful, especially in the film like this, where you could be so easy to just focus on the big action sequences or explosions, but he will pay attention to the way you put down a cup. That's how detailed Matt Reeves is. The puzzle pieces, mystery clues, the Batman assembled and informed by Reeves' reverence for films released in the 1970s childhood. He's talking about thrillers like Clue, Chinatown, and All the President's Men. So those are some inspirations right there. In the 1950s, Reeves' dad, yeah. So a little backstory. This show's like a little backstory. Talks about a little backstory when it comes to Matt Reeves and the Batman. Matt Reeves was born in 1966, the same year that the Batman TV series premiered. His parents soon moved from New York to Los Angeles, all that stuff. There was always a kind of, so he just kind of always had, he's just kind of like his backstory right here. We don't need to go too crazy. Here's a new image right here, which is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying to see this scene right here. The scene where Batman kind of faces off with GCPD. I mean, come on. We've seen that. We saw that in the first trailer where he was like laying down and then all of a sudden he gets up and then Gordon like slams him up to the cage. I'm curious about this scene so much. The fact that Batman is just pretty much wants to take on the entire GCPD because he's so fucking Looney Tunes in the head right there. Looney Tunes, but I like that. So we talk about all that. Welcome to Gotham. Syndicated Gotham Batman episodes, previous joyous, colorful backdrop of the 1970s childhood, but also lurking in the background from frequent references to something called Watergate, a real-life cynical political drama that in 1974 brought down the President of the United States. Two key characters in the Batman, Gotham Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. and District Attorney Gil Colson, share last names with key figures in the Watergate scandal, which is portrayed in the 1976 ripped from the headlines film All the President's Men. In real life, President Nixon's advisor and Hatchman Chuck Colson was the first member of the administration to be in prison for his political dirty work. John N. Mitchell was Nixon's campaign manager, a proponent of law and order, sentenced to prison for multiple Watergate-related crimes. So there you go. A little bit of insight of where some of these characters are coming from that aren't part of Batman's actual story. So that's cool. I asked Matt Reeves if there's a significance of his use of the names Coulson and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he says right here, I wanted to do a story in which the corruption of Gotham was one of the most important aspects of the story because Gotham is a sick place. Bruce is desperate to try to make a change. He's still stuck. To be honest, emotionally stunted at being 10 years old because that's a trauma you don't get past. Witnessing your parents' murder in that place. He's looking to create meaning, right? This is the only meaning he can find. I think he imagines that if he can do this, somehow he can reverse what's happened, which will never be reversed. This is a very human impulse, right? To try to relive something and remake it. Reeves notes that from the first appearance of Batman, Detective Comics number 22, published in 1933 by Bob Kane and Bob Finger, presented him as a noir figure in line the other hard-charging detectives of the novels, comics, and films of World War II and the post-war era. The comics would eventually come to describe him as the world's greatest detective. This idea of a place that is corrupt and you try to swim against the tide in order to fight against it and make a difference is quintessential to Batman. And at the center of those noir stories is almost always the detective, right? And that's why he's the world's greatest detective. And so this story is, in addition to being almost a horror movie and a thriller and an action movie, at its core is also very much a detective story. It's very narrative. I love it. We want to see more of that detective story, as we've talked about many times before. Wright concurs. Matt built an architecture within his script that was extremely well considered. Pattinson was impressed that all the detective talk wasn't just lip service. So apparently Pattinson was kind of going like, wow, is it really like a detective story? And turns out pretty much is. In the first meeting, he was saying, we want to lean into the world's greatest detective aspect and be a detective noir movie, he says. And normally when directors say that they just do like a mood board and it's just about imagery. But I read the script and it is. It's a detective movie. It happens all the time in the graphic novels, but it's always kind of the back burner of the movies. The film noir of the 1930s and 40s was a major point of reference from Roman Polanski's That Guy, 1974 neo-noir Chinatown, in which Jack Nicholson's cynical private detective Jake Gitz, I forgot exactly how you say that name, realizes that Los Angeles is even more crooked than he imagined. So bringing in some of those elements right there. And so I knew that this story was going to be, as he went on this path, to come to understand these crimes that he's being led on by the Riddler. It needed to go back ultimately into a sense of expansive history that started to explain why this place was this way, in a way that, while it starts seemingly on this path that's impersonal because he's investigating these crimes, it ends up taking in unexpected ways to something that was incredibly personal. That's why when we hear him, like, you're very much a part of this. That's why when Edward says that to Bruce, I mean, that was intriguing from the first trailer when he says, you're very much a part of this. And Bruce says, how am I a part of this? I'm curious to see where that leads to. There had to be a very deep conspiracy going on. And so I watched All the President's Men and I reread the book. And I just started saying, okay, so how do we start to describe just how high the corruption went? It's very much like All the President's Men in that way. I think I'm going to have to watch that movie before I watch The Batman. I think you guys should too. Watch that movie. I don't think I've ever seen it. So I've seen Chinatown, but I haven't seen All the President's Men, but I'm probably going to have to revisit some of those two right there. So enter another dark icon of the 1970s, the never identified Zodiac killer who taunted the Bay detectives who tried to stop it. The Zodiac inspired the Riddler, played in The Batman by Paul Dano. So I think we all kind of got a sense that, yes, there was going to be that Zodiac killer type. Hey, look at that handsome devil right there. Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot. I tell you, this movie, if it doesn't get some main awards recognition, it's definitely going to get the makeup. Makeup for, of course, him. Oh, man. Still blown away by the way that looks. The premise of the movie is that the Riddler is kind of molded in the almost Zodiac killer sort of mode and is killing very prominent figures in Gotham. And they are the pillars of society. These are supposedly legitimate figures. It begins with the mayor, and then it escalates from there. And in the wake of the murders, he reveals the ways in which these people were not everything they said they were, and you start to realize there's some kind of association. And so, just like Woodward and Bernstein, you've got Gordon and Batman trying to follow the clues to try to make sense of this thing in a classic kind of detective story way. God, I'm looking forward to this. I wanted bits of those names because I wanted the conspiracy to come with this forcefulness of history and believability for me, Reeves explains. Obviously talking about Coulson and Mitchell. All the money. Follow the money. All the President's Men was the third film for, talking about paranoia. Reeves and Kravitz talked about Clute. I haven't seen Clute, but maybe I should check that out too. The film kind of became a Bible for me in terms of the tone and relationship between the two of them, and that's one of the most incredible performances I've ever seen. Jane Fonda just blows me away, says Kravitz. Also, one of my favorite actors, Donald Sutherland, says Reeves. And what I love about Donald Sutherland in that movie is he judges her. He judges her, and yet he falls in love with her. So now you're going to get a sense of how Bruce feels about Selina right there. Like he probably has a little bit of judgment, but he's obviously fallen for her. If you saw the Bat and the Cat trailer, I mean, my God. And I just thought there was something about that related to what I thought could be Batman Selina Kyle's story. He doesn't understand what it takes to survive in this place. What you have to do is just survive in a place this rough. Like Bruce Wayne, Selina Kyle has no powers. Both rely on tenacity, deductive skills, and courage, but Bruce is super rich and Selina has nothing. Selina has had a very difficult life and has lived on the street and is trying to survive, says Kravitz. She really knows how scary the world is. Just based off the certain things that Batman says, she could tell he grew up wealthy. So that little dynamic, which we'll get more of, which we've seen, of course, in the books. We've seen in the animated stuff. I mean, if you watch that first episode of Batman the Animated Series, Scott and I, we covered that on Batman the Fanimated stream, the first appearance of Catwoman. When you get that dynamic, the back and forth, they kind of captured that right there. It takes a very special safety net to even be able to do what he's doing. Yes, okay, he's risking his life, but he's risking his life in the way that only someone who has all the resources that he has can do. He absolutely has privilege. There's no question. He was born with privilege. He is a descendant of city royalty. I wanted him to have an awakening of sorts where he would question her about what she is doing. He says, this is Matt Reeves, and she says, I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, you obviously grew up rich. So Selena, of course, knows. Oh, she knows. She knows. Then there's the other well-regarded film in the 1970s. Reeves' filmmaking heroes included Martin Scorsese, of course, Alfred Hitchcock, Akira Kurosawa, Federico Fellini, and Francis Ford Coppola, who's The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, widely regarded as two of the greatest films of all time, influenced the Batman in a surprising way. So this time... Okay, so unlike, when the Russo brothers start talking about, start comparing their movies to Godfather, stuff like that, I think with the Batman, we can actually say that's kind of true. We can actually go, yeah, you can actually say that. And I'm kind of wondering, like, if maybe Martin Scorsese will actually watch this version. I don't know. Maybe will. Colin Farrell, like Reeves, first knew Batman from the campy TV series. One of the more outlandish characters in the Caped Crusaders' rotating rogues gallery of villains was the Penguin, portrayed by the scenery and Quellen Czar Chompy Burgess Meredith as a grumpy, gaudy parody of an Aristocat with top hat, tuxedo, tails, monocle, long cigarette, and, we all know what he was looking like, of course, But, they wanted to reference that. Reeves saw him differently. Colin Farrell's Oz, who prefers not to be called the Penguin, is the shady proprietor of the Iceberg Lounge, a Gotham underworld hangout, doing the bidding of the reclusive crime lord Carmine Falcone. There's a certain amount of brokenness in Oz that I think, as a reference, not for me, performance-wise, but just emotionally, as a reference to Matt. I think Fredo from The Godfather was a bit of a reference, says Colin Farrell. Played by John Cazale, Fredo Corleone is the weak son of Vito Corleone, and who is stepped over by his more capable younger brother, Michael, who is, of course, Al Pacino, and in turn portrays him. Farrell's performance is by no means an imitation of that, so, but, you could see where he's like, where they're kind of getting it from right here. And then I think Farrell says right here, Matt was just talking about somebody who had a very real and very lofty ambitions, but never really had the opportunity or the chance to explore them and was maybe looked upon as someone who was handicapped. Whether it was psychologically, intellectually, Fredo was frowned upon as less than his other brothers, and maybe Oz as well in his life was looked upon as somebody who wasn't capable. And so that's one of the things that fuels Oz. So there you go. You get a little bit of backstory. You get a little bit of where Oswald is coming from right here. Being kind of like, not exactly the poster boy of certain things. So let's see. While Batman may share a moral clarity of mental, let's see. So we don't have to go through like everything right here. I didn't want to go through everything. Here's a new image of a more clear image of Selena Kyle, of course, doing her thing right here. I'm trying to open up, I guess, a safe right here that even in the early comics, there was something which I liked, says Pattinson. In a lot of the early tellings of it, he's just sitting at home and a bat just smashes through the window and he's like, "That's it. I'll be a bat." He laughs. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, but it's cool. The Batman script, Pattinson explains, finally embraces the madness. There's an element in the other iterations of the story where Bruce goes off, does his training, masters himself, and then comes back to Gotham as a fully realized character, and a delineation between Bruce and Batman, the public Bruce and the private Bruce and the Batman Bruce. See, again, what have we talked about? What did we talk about with Dr. Andrea? the Arkham Asylum doctor. She talks about how there are 3 Bruce Waynes, not 2. There are 3. And he even said it right here. There's public Bruce, there's private Bruce, and there's Batman Bruce. There's 3 different personalities when it comes to Batman. And very contained, and are very contained, and he can control them more easily. And in this, the lines have totally blurred. His self as Bruce is sort of yeah, I'm totally choking on my words right there. After his massive breakout success in Twilight, which is what everybody keeps on referring to, Pattinson took care to prove himself outside of big franchises. He disappeared into the role of a bearded, obviously Lost City of Z, and then, of course, The Lighthouse, and Good Time, which a lot of people have talked about, too. Yes, Reeves and the Batman producer Dylan Clark took note. We're like, he's just making insanely bold choices, this guy. He went from being very early on in a giant franchise where he was a poster boy to really pushing himself as an actor, working with incredibly talented directors and pushing himself all the way, and we just respected that. So that's what they're just kind of, throwing some praise over there when it comes to Robert Pattinson as Batman. When Ben Affleck, who played Bruce Wayne, Batman in 2016's Batman vs. Superman, and the subsequent Justice League, decided not to go ahead with plans to direct and star in his solo Bat film, Warner Brothers turned to Matt Reeves, who enlisted Clark to join him on the project. Meanwhile, as questions swirled about who would replace Affleck under the cowl, Pattinson became fascinated by the idea of taking on the role. What Pattinson didn't know was that Reeves had begun writing the Batman with him in mind. So this is pretty interesting right here. Batman is an amazing myth that has endured over 80 years, says Reeves, and it's because of the crazy mix. There's a part of it that is just simply cool, right? He looks cool. He's got a cool car. He's got all the stuff. He's like James Bond, I guess, in a certain way, right? But there's also something very relatable to the pain that he's gone through. Wait, according to the Russos, they're not relatable. I'm just kidding. And so that, for me, was how you ground it. Those aspects are part of the story, and the story emphasizes those things. The story pulls those things out, so that's why I was excited about Robert Pattinson, because he's such a wonderful actor. And I knew that he would be able to go on and search with me for the depth and complexity of the character. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to play him straight ahead. Oh, wait, I heard that Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson hate each other. What? In writing, from the beginning, I was imagining the character in my head, and I started watching movies of actors in the same age range, and he just really kind of captivated me, and I started writing for him at a certain point. I had no idea if he would ever want to be in the movie. So, I mean, that's kind of nice when you have a movie as big as this is going to be, and the writer-director looked at you and said, you know what, I'm going to write it with you in mind. And then all of a sudden, you get it. So that's cool. Reeves had spent many years resisting blockbusters for the fear of too many cooks and too many concessions to corporate demands. When the opportunity came to do Cloverfield, I said, JJ, I just want to understand why you want me to do this, because this fantastical part of it is not really the thing I want to focus on, says Reeves. And he goes, I know. You're going to make everything else real. And that's why Cloverfield was so great. He worried that Pattinson might have a similar aversion to big-budget films. I've never auditioned for any comic book movies before, Pattinson explains, and at the time, even my agents thought it was pretty out of character to just suddenly get fixated on Batman, and I didn't even really know the status of the project. Around that time, Pattinson and Clark had a general meeting about potential collaborations with no specific project in mind. We're talking about 20 different things, and then he starts kind of saying, so what's going on with Batman? Clark says. Adds Pattinson, I had no idea that Matt had seen Good Time and thought, I want to do a really dirty, slimy Batman. It was kind of almost faded. It was kind of almost a faded thing, says Reeves. Of course, at that point, we were still working on the script, and so there was nothing to share, but I met with him probably about 8 months later and shared the script, and we just really connected. So there you go. Connection! And then, despite all your planning, sometimes you lose control in March of a, yeah. So obviously this is talking about the COVID stuff. We don't need to really go in there. Ben says, remember being very busy. Let's see. It was like a military operation. We had earpieces, blah, blah, blah. They just kind of talk about that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the stopping of it. And while COVID compounded every problem, it wasn't the only challenge to overcome. Reeves recalls one scene during the COVID stage of the production where some dialogue between Kravitz and Skarsgård just didn't gel. One of the things I think that I have learned is to never be afraid to just stop. Don't get carried away with the energy of something, because if you do, you might find yourself being carried down a current that's totally wrong. We were shooting a scene with Peter Sarsgaard and Zoe, and it was something that was a beat when we talked about during rehearsal. And Peter had said, "I'm not sure about this," and he was like, "No, I think it can work." And I tracked it in my head how it could work, and we started doing it, and it was clear it didn't work. It just didn't work. And when we were shooting, I was like, we're either going to shoot this or I'll be back here 6 months later or something bad is going to be in our movie and I can't allow it. So I said, okay, it's not working. Let's stop. And then when we stopped, I just took out a piece of paper and I started trying to rework the dialogue. And we all were together, and I was trying to figure out where it wasn't working, and I always think that that's very important. That's almost the scariest thing for some people to do, to stop when you've got like 500 people going. What's next? So, I mean, that's got to be pretty rough too as a director when like something's not working, but you got a big, huge set, you got a bunch of people all over the place, you got a studio that's like expecting you to like get done by a certain time. Sometimes you just got to stop. I do remember that scene, and I do feel like it wasn't working, says Kravitz, and he didn't give up. This is what I love about Matt, you know? We sat down, we figured it out, we sat down for a while, and we just looked at the scene, and I talked it over and kind of ripped it apart. It was a dialogue thing, it was a story thing, it wasn't flowing, right? Man, Matt Reeves says right a lot. We had been shooting for a few hours, and so the fact that he was willing to just say, okay, let's stop and start from scratch and basically rewrite the scene, that's the level of care. God, I love that. She adds, it's scary to sit down in the middle of shooting and after shooting the scene for 3 hours to stop and rip it apart, but he will do that. You need to stop, Reeves says, to get that compass to function again. That's probably the biggest lesson that I learned. The thing that enables me to stop is to have a level of an internal understanding enough to be able to have a compass. And so that's what I'm always looking for, is how to find a way to do something that might be genre, and then finding a way to make it personal. And if I can find that, then I can tell, and then I could do that story. And that's why Batman was a perfect one for me. Whew! There you go. Got through it. Whew, man. Dave, can you repeat the I missed. Yeah, you dozed off. You just dozed off, you dick. I see you there. I see you there. Oh, man. I know. Only lunch break. I know. Hey, I wanted to go through all that. We're breaking it down. We're diving into the Batman. I know. I'm sorry if I bored anybody. I try to be as quick and animated and try to give my little notes as possible when I'm reading through these interviews right here. But I really like what was all said right there from everybody. Everybody just seems like they had like a pretty, like it was a hard time. It was a great time. And they made something special, man. I mean, obviously when it comes to these movies, everybody always takes pride and always puts as much as they can in them. But, you know, when it just sounds like Matt Reeves was really like, all right, you know, I have to make it the way that I want to make it. I'm going to get the actors that I want to get, and hopefully they sign on. And it just sounds to me like it's going to be something pretty damn awesome. So, yeah, I could reread. You want me to go through it again? I can go through it again. You know, if you want me to. Batsy. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't even go through. I mean, I skipped a couple of parts, though, at least. So, but anyways, I can't wait. This movie's sounding more and more like it's just going to be something. It's going to break the genre a little bit, you know? I mean, when we saw that first trailer, I mean, immediately my thought was, man, I mean, obviously, people talk about the Dark Knight trilogy from Nolan, but Matt Reeves said straight up, let me hold my beer. Let's do it. So, anyways, yeah. Okay, so we got all that. Appreciate you guys spending some time. We were going into the Batman right there, that's for sure. Now let's talk about DC Comics. And why does DC and Warner Brothers hate the Justice League? Just kidding. They don't hate the Justice League. I think they kind of do. I don't know. I don't know if they're a fan of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But, what could he do? But yeah, did you guys see this was like the news that was happening today? Inside DC's plan to kill the Justice League. Writer Joshua Williamson explains how Justice League number 75 will end the current comic series and murder major characters in this whole thing right here. So 30 years ago, DC Comics killed Superman, which I have that book. I have that novel. It's great, And for the Far Vantage Point, we know that the Man of Steel got better eventually, of course. But now we're talking about this. It's very serious, writer Joshua Williamson tells Entertainment Weekly. It's an interesting opportunity to do this on the 30th anniversary of Death of Superman, which happened in Superman number 75. We get to take Justice League number 75 and do Death of the Justice League. We want people to understand that this is serious and this is going to have major impact in the DCU moving forward. See, I always thought, like when it came to the DCU and the DCEU, when everybody was trying to be like, what exactly is the DCEU? I always thought the DCEU is the extended universe that is not in the books. The books are the DCU. Everything else is the DCEU. Animated, live action, that kind of stuff. That's just me. So yeah. Here's an image right here where something crazy's happened. But I think the biggest image was this one right here. This is the big image right here. Is the funeral. So, apparently, we're going to have Aquaman get killed, Batman's going to get killed, Superman's going to get killed, Wonder Woman's going to get killed, and Jon Stewart's Green Lantern is going to get killed. Because obviously we got Hal right here. So, this is what's happening right now. So not only is the Suicide Squad going to try to kill the Justice League in the video games, now in the comic books, we're going to have them get killed right here. And we got everybody, of course, at the funeral in their costumes, all right there. So what are we thinking about this, huh? What are we thinking about this? Are we looking forward to this? It's going to be pretty insane, it seems like. I really enjoy the story of Death of Superman. Like I said, when I bought it as a kid, I've read it twice, the novelization of it. Of course, I've also had the graphic novel version of it as well. I'm kind of curious what they're going to be doing with all this, And the variant cover, this is by Dan Jurgens, which we all know and love, and Norm Rapmund. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not a costume. It's a uniform. Sorry, uniform. They're wearing their uniforms. Hidden shadows in the back, yeah. And we got all kinds of characters all over the place right here. Some Blue Beetle and Booster Gold right there, I mean, yeah. Even Black Adam's right there, man. I'll tell you. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with all this. Beast Boy's even back there. Mira. Aqualad, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to check it out. I don't know about you guys. I'm curious to see, obviously they're not going to stay dead. Nobody stays dead in the comic book universe. Of course, they never stay dead. So I think we'll be, we'll of course be okay, but I'm just curious to see, how exactly they die and how they come back. It's going to be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll check it out. I know some people are, but the jokes are there. The jokes are there. It's like, oh yeah, DC and Warner Brothers, they just don't like the Justice League. I mean, they try to kill it one time, and then Warner Brothers try to kill the hype for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and now they're doing all this crazy stuff where, the rumor is that they're changing up the Justice League to a Justice League that we're not too familiar, whatever. It's whatever. Just buy the book. It sounds like it's going to be something interesting. Yeah. We got to read more. I need to read more. Fuck, man. I need to read more. All right, back to Pattinson. Cheers to him. So some big news happened today. I mean, it's not fully official yet, but I mean, it'd be kind of dumb if Pattinson didn't sign on to be in Mr. Bong Joon-ho's new movie. Ever since he cleaned house at the Academy Awards in 2020 with Parasite, which if you haven't seen that, do yourself a favor, watch Parasite. It's very great. Exclusive after taking nearly 2 years to figure out his next project following his Oscar sweep in 2020 with Parasite, director Bong Joon-ho looks to have found his next film and is taking a certain Cape Crusader along for the ride. Sources tell Deadline that Bong is in talks to write and direct an untitled film based on Edward Ashton's upcoming novel, Mickey 7, for Warner Brothers, and that the Batman star, Robert Pattinson, is in talks to star. Bong will also produce the untitled film for his production company, Offspring, alongside those people too, Plan B, all that stuff. The book will be published in the first quarter of 2022 by St. Martin and Macmillan imprint, which the film will be inspired by the novel. Sources say that given Bong's past experiences with adaptations, his version might ultimately may be different from the novels. Well, yeah, we always want that. The novel story follows Mickey 7 is an expendable, a disposable employee on a human expedition sent to colonize the ice world of Niflheim. Whenever there's a mission that's too dangerous, even suicidal, the crew turns to Mickey. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. After 6 deaths, Mickey 7 understands the terms of his deal and why it was the only colonial position unfilled when he took it. Sounds awesome. That's right up my alley. I'm looking forward to that. Sounds a little Oblivion type, you know, Tom Cruise, Oblivion, which is an underrated movie. More people should be talking about. I think we talked about that on Vodka Stream last week. But it sounds kind of Oblivion-like to me, but I don't know. That sounds like right up my alley, and I'm really hoping that that Pattinson actually takes part in it, man. I think that would be good for him because, I mean, it seems like Pattinson is just working with all these big directors and everything, so he's becoming the golden boy right now. I mean, especially after, we'll see what happens after Batman. And oh yeah, you know, I even forgot to mention that Batman, according to IMDb at one point, and then even on IMAX, I mean, we might be getting a 2 hour and 55 minute or like almost a 3 hour Batman. So they might, who knows if that's gonna stick, but I guess we'll see. Hopefully. I want a 3 hour Batman. All right, now wrapping up today's show. Book of Boba Fett. Wouldn't say Bong. Yeah, he's not a big director yet, but he did clean house when it came to that. Anyways, Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4. I'll do a little quick review right here. If you guys saw it, don't worry, I won't have any spoilers. I thought episode 3 was, episode 2 was my favorite so far, but it seems like it's like every other one. It's doing that every other one thing because I really enjoyed actually chapter 4. Got a little backstory of, I forgot her character's name, totally blanking on her character's name. We get more of a backstory. We go back to, we kind of just, it's more of a flashback episode than it is a current episode. And, Boba Fett really likes to tell people, and even robots, that he is Boba Fett. He likes to say his name like that. He really does. So, Boba is weak against a lightsaber. Yeah, he seems to be. The Book of Boba Fett should have been an actual book. The series is just meh. Yeah, it's a little back and forth. There's some things I don't like. There's some things I do. But I like this episode. It was a little more, a little more grungy, a little more, I think I dig more of the flashback part of the story than I do the present day part of the story. Like he goes back to the pit to get his armor, so we get that again, and we get a little intense sequence like that. Remember, like when there's like the creature that's within the pit that was not added till George Lucas added that on the special edition Return of the Jedi. Remember, before it was just It was just a hole in the ground with spiky stuff in it. But then, when it came to George Lucas wanted to revamp everything with computer generated, he added like the head and like more tentacles and stuff like that. So that was back, at least, when we see that. But, you know, it was pretty cool. It was a cool little sequence. And yeah, so I dug chapter 4. I'm high as fuck. Jeez, okay, Joel. I'm high. Yeah, you're really high, huh? Yeah, blaze it up, man. Do it. Hey, whatever gets you through this, you know, my shows, I guess. But no, I enjoyed chapter 4 more than I enjoyed chapter 3, maybe even chapter 1. I don't know if I think when it comes to chapter 2 and chapter 4, I think those are like my 2 favorite episodes that are happening when it comes to Book of Boba Fett. So there you go. I enjoyed it. I thought, you know, it helped with the present day, but I'm more liking the flashbacks because obviously chapter 2 was a flashback when he's with the Raiders and they're doing the train heist thing. I mean, you know, and I think that part of the story is a little stronger than the present day stuff. That's just me though. I don't know, but still, chapter 4, I dug it. Okay. Let's go to the Twitter questions. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys want to go ahead and head over to the Real Emotion, those guys should be starting right meow. So if you want to go check that out, I'm not sure if Garz is on there today, but I know Ben was doing his stream, and I know I'm going overtime, but it happens. All right, so let's go to Twitter questions right here. Ronak, how's everything going? Going pretty good. I guess good example, or I guess good, except for Joss. Anyways, I was watching Phoenix Joker the other day, and interestingly, Thomas Wayne might be on the corrupted side of politics. We have also seen from the Matt Batman trailer that Wayne's might be corrupted. Any link? I mean, there's link, but I don't think they don't share a universe. I still don't think they share a universe. You know, that's in the 80s. Pattinson, this Bruce Wayne's not that, you know, he's younger. Darren, Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later. Speaking of what we was talking about yesterday in the interview with Pattinson and J-Lo, he said back in the early 2018 he knew they was making another Batman, so he went out for the role, and that right there should tell everybody Ben was done. Exactly. I mean, a lot of people, there were some people, you know, the loud part of the community saying that, you know, we're calling Matt Reeves a snake and ousted Ben Affleck, but it's like, no. Ben Affleck was done. It just, for some reason, it was Warner Brothers that told him to just like, no, you got to promote Justice League still. You got to promote all this stuff still. So, you know, he still had to play the part of like, oh yeah, Matt Reeves, I'll be Batman for him, ha 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 ha. But Ben Affleck was already out, man. He was already out. Brad, so the more I think about it, the more I think that Ray's situation is something that the merger can't not address. Yeah, hopefully they do. I totally think that they should. Zaslav should come in and just be like, hey, we, on behalf, apologize. I don't know. There's going to be, who knows what's going to happen with that. But then again, they might not say shit. Eric, so the more big CBMs come out near 3 hours, the more bone stupid Tsujihara and Emmerich look, telling ZACK that, and then Whedon to slash the first ever Justice League film down to 2 hours even. Exactly what was these morons thinking? They were thinking about their bonuses. That's what they were thinking. They wanted their bonuses. That's what they wanted. P.S. When people insisted Tsujihara was secretly pro-ZACK and the 2-hour mandate was imposed on Whedon to protect the film, now we know they tried to impose it on ZACK too. Exactly. Donut on Undercover. Have to pick one. SNYDER'S is restored, or you get to get a recurring extra role in the Batman movies, and you can try on the bat suit whenever you want. Oh, you're funny. Well, I'm shorter. I'm like a few inches shorter than Robert Pattinson, so it probably wouldn't feel right anyways. As much as I would like a recurring and be an extra in the Batman movies, if I had to choose, I would choose for the SNYDER'S to be restored. I would. You know. I'm okay with that. Do you think Bong Joon-ho would be interested in becoming a Hollywood director? Yeah, I think he's very much getting to that point. He's going to be working with Warner Brothers, so yeah. Cooper Knox, give it 6 months and the OG Justice League crew will be resurrected in a Thanos snap. Okay, so you're talking about the comic book thing that's happening. Legend, do we live in a simulation? I think we do. I'm pretty sure we do. Ryan, can't wait to see Leo in the Doctor Strange sequel. How about you? I know. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a pretty funny little thing right there. All right, Andrew Casali, do you think the Batman will bring a smile to your face when you see it like Jim Carrey's Grinch? Hell yeah, I do. Speaking if we ever had a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey, should Jim Carrey play Carnage? That'd be pretty crazy. That would be pretty insane. I mean, Jim Carrey can play anything in my book. I think that man, multi-talented, totally talented, and I think he could play that. He could play Cletus. I just didn't. As much as I love Woody Harrelson, I just wasn't feeling Woody Harrelson. It just wasn't. I mean, some of the scenes were fine, but I think sometimes they just weren't. Anyways, guys, all right, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up this hump day version of Film Junkie Live. I appreciate you guys sticking with me till the bitter end. Sorry if it sounded a little grueling. I just wanted to really dive into the Batman because I'm so excited for it. Anyway, smash that like, thumbs up before you leave. If you want to join Film Junkie, do so. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. If you want to join the Patreon and help out that pirate ship, I'll be doing, of course, my Thursday Patreon exclusive tomorrow, which I'll let you guys know who the guest is when who the guest of Friday's vodka stream. That's already locked in, so I'll let you guys know about that. We'll talk about some other stuff. I'll be doing my Ben Affleck night. I'm gonna watch The Tender Bar and The Last Duel. I'm going to try to watch both of those tomorrow since I'm not going to the movies. So do all that. We've got the Film Junkie Closet down below. And, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys. I'll see you all, well, you patrons. Well, talk to you tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll see everybody else Friday on the Vodka stream. All right, guys? Love you. Talk to you later.